You're 87 tomorrow? God dang. It's really scary how good you look for 87. It says. Do you shoot 87 on the golf course? You shoot your age or better? Jeez. Yeah, I mean, guys, true.
Fowler's 94.
Goodness.
Isn't it? Still?
Good to see you guys again. Yeah, it's kind of what we play this for. Get some of the teach them how to stand at the starting lineup or start at the national anthem. Teach them how to sit in the timeout. Teach them how to handle a substitution. A lot of firsts, and give Illinois Wesleyan a tremendous amount of credit. I think down 24-5, and really, just made shots. Most of, not to discredit anything they did, most of them were our philosophical breakdowns for the first 5 or 6 threes anyway. We just helped out of the strong side corner, which we never do. And it wasn't just one guy; it was quite a few of them. But we've got to get some of these freshmen thinking a little more about the defensive end and understanding it. I keep using the terminology with these guys that it's the toughness to be disciplined enough to execute. And even though we scored the ball in the first half, a lot of that was Trent. It wasn't out of execution on the offensive end. But I did think we guarded very well. I think we did some good things. We forced a good amount of turnovers in the first half, took them out of what they wanted to do. Most importantly, we guarded the basketball. And then we all saw in the second half what happens when you don't guard the ball. And we just let up, plain and simple. And we can't do that. And the one thing that they did then was started making shots, and that puts a little heat on you. And give them credit. But we got to start guarding better in terms of guarding the basketball, and it's something we work on every single day. But good thing that one's over, and now we got some film, and we can continue to evaluate that and get better.
Questions for Brad in the back?
Brad, how can you get Georgie to increase his energy and intensity?
I'll send him to Lauren's house. I don't know. Georgie's going to be a really, really good player, and I'm his biggest fan. I need Georgie on the court more than 14 minutes, and he can't let. He loves physicality. He's the one guy that doesn't run from it. He is seeking it out, and yet that being said, you've got to play with some intelligence. He is as good a ball screen defender as I've coached, and we need him on the court so that he can handle a lot of those situations because he's very, very good at it. He's got great feet, and then offensively he's a weapon. And but he's got to understand that when he hears a whistle, just stop. A technical foul gave him a second personal, and we're a better team defensively, especially with him on the court.
And you said you liked how you were guarding the ball when you were. How does that compare to how you felt about the team defensively at this point last year?
Oh, I don't even know. I can't remember that far back. No, I think the one thing that we have more guys capable of guarding the ball, and I think that's. You saw us get in passing lanes. We took them out of a lot of what they wanted to do in the first half. And in the first half, if we do anything on the offensive end, execution-wise, we just played fast in terms of the half-court stuff. But again, we've got to grow. It's not a 20-minute game. It's a 40-minute game, and we got to continue to work towards that goal.
When the offense started to stall or guys started to get a little confused on what set they're in, it seemed like Andres really kind of asserted himself to get them in a set. Just what kind of composure does he bring to this team when he's on the court?
Yeah, that's what he does. He's an older guy. He's got a different mentality. He's a guy that the game for a lot of our freshmen right now, the game is sped up in their mind, and for him, it's not. And he was our leading scorer in our secret scrimmage that I can't talk about. So I can now, but I'm not going to. But he was our leading scorer. So he finds a lot of ways to score the basketball, and he's also a guy that knows every play we do, every set we do, and where everybody's supposed to be, not just himself. That's pretty unique for a newcomer.
Brad?
How much time have you spent on half-court offense really in learning in different sets at this point?
I'm embarrassed to say not very much because of the way we played defensively. We put a great deal of time into what we've been doing defensively. We did spend a lot of time in the last couple weeks or the last couple days in our half-court stuff, just trying to get it cleaned up and some of the fundamental things. That offense has to be run with speed, and it's got to be. We're slow cutting. We run it a lot better when Georgie's in there, cutting off the pinch, and his passing and ball handling give us another dimension. We did some better things in it late. We had some 2 or 3, 4 consecutive possessions that were pretty good, but we got to continue to work at it.
Just 3 points for Kipper tonight on 1 of 10 shooting in 25 minutes. What did you see out of him, and what would you like to see him clean up before Thursday?
Well, I don't ever worry about shooting. Kipper's a good shooter. And, I thought he took a couple into the clock shots that were difficult. What I'd like to see from Kipper is about 12 rebounds and multiple efforts. And I thought he was okay the first half. I thought he did some decent things the first half. You have nights when the ball doesn't go in. That happens. And yet he can't let that affect, what he's doing on the other end. And Kipper's a guy that's got the ability to be a good player. We need him to be that.
Scott?
I mean, you went through several different lineups and combinations. Was there a group that you thought maybe played a little better than others, or is there something that you liked about a certain group?
No, I like it when we get the 3 guards on the floor at one end of the court. I think offensively, when we get those 3 little guys out there, we can do some things offensively. Now I think we got to figure out how to play with those guys and get them to rebound. Trent's never been a guy to go get rebounds. Io's never been a guy to go really chase balls on the glass. Dre has. I saw Dre in 2 national tournament games last year. He had 12 in each game. So we got to figure out how to cope with that a little bit. I like that lineup. I love AJ on the court because I know AJ's going to, I think, 7, 8 rebounds tonight. And I thought that I didn't see enough of that lineup with Georgie and AJ playing a little smaller. And I thought DeMonte did some good things tonight.
Brad, I know with so many young players on this roster, with everything that you've seen, leading up to this first exhibition game, what do you guys think you need to work on before next Thursday?
Well, I think we've got to continually learn to be a 40-minute team. It's consistent, and we fought that a little bit in practice. We get, towards the last quarter of practice and we slip. They've got to learn to stay locked in and learn to stay focused throughout. And we talk about everyday guys all the time, and you've got to do your job as long as that uniform's on and there's still time on the clock. And obviously we had, how many turnovers do we have tonight? That's way too many against a team that didn't bother us a whole lot. And we've got to clean that up. We've got to clean up. More consistent effort on the glass. But some of the other stuff defensively, film will help, and we'll get better at that.
What do you think out of the diamond press hook you guys were throwing tonight? It seems like you finally started to get some success on when Allen was at the point of it.
Yeah, I mean it's one of the advantages of having film and scouting, which we didn't have today. I mean, we had no idea how they were going to set up and match up, and they threw a little different wrinkle at us. I think we were very, very poor in it early. It's something I want to be able to play. Shrink the clock. I thought we had some success with it at times, but again, it's it's something we'll continue to grow with and get better at as we go. And I think we can be very good at it.
Isaac.
Coach, Io starts 0 for 3 from the field, but then he kind of gets it together and finishes with 13 points, makes 6 out of the last seven shots. What did you see from him?
Yeah, I think first game, nervous, jitters, I think, and excitement. And I think that, I think the one thing that we didn't see is how good defensively he's going to be. I saw that in our scrimmage. He's an elite defender. This one's just get it in the books, get it out of the way. He was really good at times. It's hard. There's a lot of firsts, and I'm sure he was nervous and excited to be out there all in one. So, I thought he played, a little fast early, had some turnovers that he normally doesn't make, and he'll clean those up.
Coach, you bringing Andres, off the bench. Is there a point where you look at his performances and start thinking where you got to throw him out there in the starting lineup?
I don't worry about starting lineup too much. I kind of like the fact that you bring a guy like Andres off the bench who's capable of getting 20 any night and scoring. You bring a guy like DeMonte, who I think's got a chance to be an elite defender. You get a guy like Alan Griffin, who's a catch and shoot guy right now that's really good. Now you start adding some real pieces to your team, so you don't have a significant drop off after your starting five. And I try to put pieces together in that, and not just look at the first five, but look at the overall picture. I don't want a significant drop off when all three of those guys are tired. Now all of a sudden you throw Dre in there, and the other team's a little fatigued, and here's a guy who can really go downhill. And he missed a couple threes tonight he normally makes. So, you had a couple of those, and he would have had a great night. So we'll keep tinkering with it. It's kind of almost put him in a hat and see who we pulled out tonight to start. And that's the reason we play these and get a lot of lineups out there. And now we can go back and evaluate it.
Scott Ritchie.
Was it just this team's length that made you look at the press more, or was there something else about the guys that you have that you thought that might be a good look?
I think the length. I think that tempo, on the defensive end. I think the defensive side can. I think we had a couple possessions where we were pushing a 10-second count. I like that. We've got to get in a little bit quicker, and I think that again, this will be something that. We got 2 or 3 things that we do out of that, and I think it'll be something that, again, I think over the course of time can be really effective for us.
You mentioned AJ's rebounding. Given this roster makeup is the 7 rebounds, is that the kind of night you're going to need from him, night in and night out? You have to lean on him more in there?
Well, I think it's what he's capable of. I don't know if we have to lean on it. I think I want every player to be the best they can be. I think he's proven since I've been here, he's been a tremendous rebounder, and I think he gives the effort to go. I think that's what we've got to get Tevi in. I think it's what we've got to get Allen. Those guys have done that in practice, and tonight it was maybe a little starry-eyed, and they didn't go as much. But AJ's a guy that we kind of know what we're getting there every night.
Brad.
You don't have a lot of front court depth right now. What's the status of the 2 guys that are out right now, Higgs and De La Rosa?
Good question. I think Anthony's, a little further away, coming off of his foot, and he's missed so much practice that we'll have to make an evaluation with him as he's gaining and healing. Adonis is just the typical recovery from an ACL, and you don't rush that. You don't. He's doing things with us in practice. He's just not doing everything with us in practice yet. And we'll see. And he's got to. Most importantly, he's got to feel comfortable with it, and I think he's gaining confidence with that. And Don's a good player. And you're talking about a guy that's 5th-year senior that's older, and he's a proven rebounder, and some of the things he does in practice are going to be a big asset for this group.
Coach, what are the focus areas that you're really looking at with Tev and his development and getting him to where you want him to be?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing with Tev is just getting him to slow down. It's a comfort, and we talk at length. I've been really pleased with Tev's effort. Tev has so much pride. He's watching a ton of film. You have to understand what you're looking for offensively and defensively. And we play a little bit of different style than he's used to defensively. So, for him, the game will slow down. But he's got a lot of pride. He keeps working his tail off. He was in the gym this morning getting up extra shots. And his time's coming, and there'll be no doubt about that. And we need him on the court. But again, it's one of those things that you just don't rush with young guys. And you want them to be successful. You want them to gain confidence. And when the game slows down for him, then we'll see a guy that's playing a little freer and a little slower pace.
In the back.
Coach, you said earlier this week at practice, a matchup like this, you can draw many takeaways. So what are some of your takeaways now that the results are final for you?
Yeah, I think we've just got to get, again, it goes back to the three words I talked about: toughness, to be disciplined, to execute. And that's both ends. And we have to find a way to not make those mistakes. I was pleased with Trent at times. I was pleased, and I was disappointed in him at times. When things get going a little bit awry, I need Trent to be out there to pull those guys back in, and he's got to do that for us. And AJ's got to help in that area. And some of the simple mistakes we made tonight, I let him play through. Helping out of the corner, just to see if we'd figure it out. But we still have to play better offensively in the half court, and we'll continue to work on that. And there's fundamental things that we have to clean up. That was more about us than it was anything else tonight.
Just what's Trent's like? First possession of game, he pulls up from three in transition. Does he just always have the green light for you?
I don't want to say always, but Trent's a guy that we know is very, very capable. He's a smart guy. He understands his role in terms of, I got on him a couple times because he took a couple quick ones. He doesn't have it all the time, but he's in transition in an open floor. That's a shot he practices. It's a shot he makes. And, we know he's a guy that's very capable of doing that. So I'm going to be pretty careful with how I put the reins on him.
Yeah, because then the halftime shot, too, you weren't too happy about that.
I just couldn't believe he airballed it. It was a good shot. He makes that shot every day. It's like I was shocked. I was more surprised than anything else.
Anything else for Coach? All right.
Thank you.